A heated debate now over an attempt to reform the NSA's controversial surveillance program. This after a panel found that the agents did not officially break any laws, but they recommended, nevertheless, overhauling the surveillance program anyway. After reviewing the panel's recommendations, former Attorney General Michael Mukasey writes this, quote, "The panel, in short, is recommending an experiment. If there is serious damage to the program measured, say, by a successful terrorist attack, well, then we can have the data placed in the hands of a private party, and we know nothing can go wrong with that." I believe he was being facetious with that last line, but let's ask John Bolton, former Fox News contributor and a former U.S. ambassador to the UN and a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I think this debate is very unbalanced. You know, the critics of what NSA is doing can make wild allegations. Edward Snowden releases very selective information that's highly classified, that paints a picture of what the NSA could do. And NSA has a very difficult time responding since everything it does is highly classified, so that the alarmists, the fears get out in front of the reality. Right. This panel served a very important purpose, as Mike Mukasey said. There's simply no evidence of officially sanctioned abuse here. There's nothing that these NSA workers have done in collecting intelligence that violated any order they were given. So if you had evidence of abuse, that would be one thing. But there's no evidence of abuse.
Let me bring into that point a couple of other people and the panel itself. For example, federal judge Richard Leon, as you know, a Republican appointee, by the way, is the very first non-FISA judge to rule on the NSA program. We'll put it up on the screen. He said it's likely unconstitutional, quote, "Surely such a program infringes on that degree of privacy that the founders enshrined in the Fourth Amendment." Now, juxtapose the president's panel, which has, by the way, some prominent law professors on it. They stated this: "We have not uncovered any official efforts to suppress dissent or any intent to intrude into people's private lives without legal justification." So you've got a judge saying it's an intrusion, but the panel saying, well, we haven't uncovered any intrusion. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, I've known Dick Leon for a long time. I respect him as a judge. He's flatly wrong on this. Other judges have found the program's constitutional. And it's an example, I think, of what can happen, whether in the legal system or in the public debate about what NSA is doing. People can say, well, you know, NSA could do X, Y, and Z. Look, the United States military is very powerful. It could launch a coup against the United States government. Read the novel 7 Days in May. It could do that. But it hasn't, and there's no evidence it will, and that's part of being a responsible citizen in a representative government, to make sure that the instrumentalities we create don't commit abuses. And until you see signs of abuse, it's very, very dangerous to say we're going to cut back NSA. People say, well, where's the evidence they've caught this terrorist or that terrorist? It's a lot more complicated than that, and it goes to the first point I make. It's very hard for NSA to say what they're doing. That gives the game away.
Except that the Obama administration, the Obama White House, said, look, this program has prevented at least 50 terror attacks, and we're going to declassify some of the information and show it to you. The Obama administration said that, yet Judge Leon said in court they made no argument and showed him no proof of that. And in fact, the president's own panel said, and I'll quote, "Our review suggests the NSA collection program was not essential to preventing attacks."
Yeah, well, that's not what one member of the panel said in the subsequent interview, but let's come back to Judge Leon. Let me tell you something. Whatever you think of the NSA program, when we have federal judges making national security decisions, we are on the road to doom. They are the last people who ought to be deciding what keeps America safe. That's for the elected branches of government. And I think, as anybody familiar with how this intelligence gathered would tell you, it's a very complicated mosaic of putting this piece of information together with that piece of information. It takes a long time, as it took a long time to find Osama bin Laden, but it's the totality of the effort that matters. Sure. And the notion that people who don't have a full understanding of what NSA is actually doing can say, we can do without it, I just think doesn't pass scrutiny. What you need is more congressional oversight. oversight, more congressional involvement. Right. That doesn't guarantee real protection because Congress can run like scalded dogs from programs that are unpopular. So what you really need is political leadership to say this is important and to try within the limits we've got to explain why.
Ambassador John Bolton, thanks for being with us this Christmas Eve day. Best wishes to you and your family.
Merry Christmas.